You might have seen them before. Gamadiams are a Hoklo term for traditional Taiwanese corner stores. Gamadiams were once ubiquitous across the country, but they've now largely been replaced by convenience stores and supermarkets. Today, we take a trip down memory lane and visit a few of Taiwan's last surviving gamadiams. Some are decades-old shops still run by their original owners. Others are managed by enterprising young people who have found fresh ways to keep the tradition alive. Here's this week's Sunday Special Report.
Miaoli Shitan Township has only 4,132 people, making it the least populated of the county's 18 administrative districts.
We have about 1,100 residents aged 66 to 79 and about 1,000 residents over 80. So these days in Shitan, when you're outside walking around, all the people you see will be older people.
What's unique about Shitan is not just the large number of older adults, but also the large number of traditional grocers, known in Hoklo as gamadians. In a short span of just 400 meters along the township's old street, one can find two such traditional grocers. This location is the older of the two. Built in the Japanese colonial days, it has been operating for nearly 70 years now. The shop is run by 67-year-old Su Qingjang and his 95-year-old mother.
I took over running the shop in 1980. This building was originally our house. You could say the business here is pretty good. When people come back to town, they gather here to buy things.
In an age when there were no convenience stores, gamadiams were where everyone in town gathered to shop. More importantly, they were where townfolk gathered to connect with each other.
Around the sides of the township's grocery stores, wherever space allows it, we put out chairs for people to rest. The people who live around here have an emotional connection to these stores.
During the Japanese colonial era, there were as many as 50 such grocery stores in Shitan Township. Later, the exodus of people from the town, combined with the arrival of chain stores, convinced most independent grocers there to close up shop. Today, only 12 gamadians remain in Shitan.
It's never occurred to me to close up shop because I've got my mother at home here. Mainly, I'm here to take care of her, as well as to keep the shop running.
Although business isn't as good as it used to be, Su still makes a sufficient living. For his community, gamadiams hold a special meaning.
In cities, you have convenient public transportation, so if you need to go to the supermarket or the hypermarket, it's quite easy to get there. But in a place like Shitan, public transportation is not quite as convenient. Therefore, the small grocery shops still have their place.
Traditional independent grocery stores can still thrive in small towns, perhaps due to the lack of supermarkets and hypermarkets. But what about gamadiams found in cities? Hidden away in Taoyuan's Liuhe commercial district is this small, unassuming shop. The fragrance of coffee fills the air. The owner of this shop is 45-year-old Zheng Han-yi. She has help from her longtime shop assistant and grandmother, 88-year-old Qiu Hui-mei. This shop is a hybrid of sorts. One side of it is kept in the style of a gamadiam.
This area over here is our cafe, and on this side is my grandmother's gamadiam. Due to space restrictions in the gamadiam, we just put out some of the more commonly sold items. Some things we keep in the back, like these things here. Actually, our customers come back here themselves to get stuff.
好，泡面在里面，直接进去拿就可以了。好。阿芬姐，俺买泡面了。好啊，好了，
customers are free to walk into the back room as if it were their own home, and they make small talk with Zheng's grandmother. For some 10 years now, the shop's only customers have been the owner's elderly neighbors.
光是距离我们这边300公尺就有10几间便利商店。
Within just 300 meters of us here, there are a dozen or so convenience stores. Within 500 meters, there are 2 supermarkets. So basically, we lost all of our customers to those stores.
Business at the store has waned over the years, and Zheng's grandmother no longer has the energy she once did. In 2017, Zheng decided to close up her own coffee shop. She transplanted her business to her grandmother's store so that she could help out.
如果今天我要接手的话，或者说我今天要把我的咖啡店
I thought whether I take over the gamadiam or merge it with my coffee shop, I want to make some changes to improve business.
Changes and transformations are all in the hope of drawing in customers. Zheng, an animal lover who has a pet hedgehog, turned the Cafe Gamadiam hybrid into a pet-friendly establishment.
Hello, Sakura 你来啦！哇，好久不见。
就上网找刺猬剧，就找到这间咖啡店。
I went online and searched for meetups of hedgehog pet owners, and that's how I found this cafe. I followed the map here, and when I arrived, I discovered the owner has a hedgehog of her own. She's also really friendly toward pets.
进来之后才发现啊，原来有一个干妈店。
Only after I stepped inside did I realize there was a gamadiam here. Later, I brought my kids here. They loved it because they'd never seen these things before.
Zheng successfully cracked the pet owners market and increased revenue at the Gamadiam by nearly 20%. Taking her grandmother's sleep schedule into account, Zheng opens the shop at 9 a.m. She doesn't make meals, only coffee. But on whim, she decided to team up with a breakfast shop.
小胖胖你好，好，鸡腿排总会一个吗？好，没问题哦。因为我们这附近的店家其实都很友好。
The shop owners around here are all really friendly. We share resources. It's about the common good, about coexisting. So even if it's just for a club sandwich, I'll go there. I'll deliver it to them. I'm really willing to do that.
然后我有跟他们说，那我就叫你们的早餐。
I told them, I'll order breakfast from you, but since the meat marinade that you use contains rice wine, you can buy that wine from us because my grandmother sells that stuff.
Through cooperation and reciprocity, traditional shops in the neighborhood help keep each other alive. Over in Taoyuan's Xinwu district, this family is also keeping tradition alive. The Zhong family has lived in this townhouse for 3 generations. They opened a grocery store on the first floor in 1956. In 1986, second-generation owner Zhong Xingming took over. With the advent of convenience stores and supermarkets, business got harder and harder. Roughly 10 years ago, Zhong Xingming's daughter began helping out by bringing fresh ideas to the traditional operation.
我在机场上班，接触到比较多新的国际的东西。
I work at the airport, where I encounter lots of new ideas from other countries. My company tends to engage in group buying, and sometimes I'd buy something delicious through the group and then want to go buy more, but would have to wait a long time for the chance. Xinwu is really small, and most of the young people here are in junior high or senior high school. So I decided to start a collective buying group to get those young people to come buy stuff at our shop.
这个嘛哈，所以你有2个，草莓布丁派跟虎皮。
The first group purchase that Zhong Peiru introduced was chocolate from Japan.
雷神巧克力那时候都
At that time, it was impossible to buy Black Thunder chocolate bars from Japan. You couldn't find them anywhere in Taiwan. But at the airport where I was working, I could get them. So I started buying them in bulk to resell. Then everyone started lining up at our shop to get them.
How did we suddenly get so many young people coming to our shop? We didn't recognize any of them. Some even came from other parts of the country. There were lots of them. It was quite strange. That really piqued our interest.
The Zhong family's gamadiams suddenly became famous. Zhong Peiru set up a Facebook fan page for the shop and began looking for the next sales opportunity. But the older people in her family didn't understand the idea of group buying. The high price of the items she wanted to buy made them doubt her idea's earning potential.
他就会一直反对我们做这个东西，可是我对我自己很有信心，因为我觉得这个非常的好吃。
My father was opposed to my way of doing things, but I had confidence in myself. I thought those imported snacks were really delicious, and I was sure young people would feel the same. So I did it my way and showed my dad that even if I bought that many cakes, I could sell them all.
In the end, Zhong Peiru's older family members saw the success of her methods and came on board. They learned how to use social media platforms and how to set up collective buying groups. Over time, the number of customers grew, and store revenue grew by nearly 60%.
沙拉油哦，这边好吗？大桶的还是泰山的？
Gamadiam are a key part of Taiwan's traditional culture. For the older generations that opened them, they provided good livelihoods. As youth bring fresh ideas into these bastions of tradition, the spirit of the past continues to live on in the present.